Hello everyone, I am Terry Candlestick and welcome back to Echo Route 65, the prequel! So last time we found some information about our crew. Flynn ignores the group a lot. I don't know how much that has changed in the Echo, the original Echo game. Leo and Flynn leave apparently Carl and Chase out of a lot of things. And Carl and Chase wonder if they're cool now. Or not cool. Jasmine, though, like, just kind of surprised with how Jasmine's state is. Just, she's got her own little kind of tidy sanctuary, and just outside of the threshold, more door attached to it. There's just trash everywhere. I mean, I kind of want to know more about Jasmine's mom, because just how bad is, like, the entire family. Of course, at the same time, you could say that Jasmine's mom can't be that much better if she's allowing it. So that's honestly my take on it. But I just don't know. Maybe she's just abused along with everyone else. And speaking of abuse, Jasmine rubbing her face kind of makes me think like there's some of that going on. And I think that's what it's supposed to indicate, and that's why she didn't go to school, because she was forced not to. Or she just didn't want to share it and then didn't want to get the secret out, or her dad didn't. So, yeah, it's pretty awful for her. And there is a short story about her, which I think we'll do after Route 65 is over. Because it does dive more into that, and I do know what happens. I just don't want to spoil it for anyone who doesn't. But then let's get also to Carl and Chase. And their secrets. Of course, the laptop and Chase being caught doing his thing. I think we've all got our own embarrassing stories, so yeah. About that. And Carl really dives deep into it. He has an imaginary girlfriend who's got everything, including a 2-foot-long dick. I believe that's what they call intersex. Carl is ahead of his game. I like this guy. Of course, then there is Chase's deep dark secret, the Peyton List ad. And I just gotta say too, before we actually jump in, the writing and the jokes and the reactions, just the way these two act, the way these two talk, this is spot on for like 13-year-old boys. This is perfect. Excellent writing. Just amazing work. And with that fanfare out of the way, it's genuine fanfare, honestly. Really is. Let's continue with Route 65. Eventually, we reached the Parsons Building, an establishment that closed many of my lifetimes ago from the looks of it. About 10 or so cars and motorcycles are parked alongside the building, and neon blue light emanates from inside. The thump of bass is palpable, even out here on the road. I look over to Carl. All his lackadaisy demeanor on the way here has been replaced by tight-lipped tension. To be honest, I'm feeling pretty similar. I don't see anyone outside here. Everyone must be inside. We just gotta get in and look for Leo's big red ass. Or, you know, his face. Any idea what we should say when we see him? Hi, Leo is a good start. Okay, sounds good. Cool. Neither of us moves. God, dude. What if it's a rave? Do people actually still have raves? I don't know, but I'm getting really bad vampire occult vibes from all this. Let's check around the back first, alright? Oh! Oh, what the fuck? Carl practically leaps, swatting at the air around him as he gets some distance.
Language! Oh gee, sorry Carl. I didn't know I'd scare you that badly.
Carl stares wide-eyed at the sheeted visage before his eyes go to a lull. Oh. Hey, TJ. I legitimately thought you were about to start bleeding there, Carl. Real specious, dude. What are you doing here, Tej? And why are you dressed like a ghost?
My mom dropped me off about 2 minutes ago. I can't believe you guys walked here. Mom would have given you a ride if you asked. Not that I'm against you guys getting exercise or anything.
I think Carl winces slightly.
As for the costume, my mom and I put this together at the last minute. I didn't get to go trick-or-treating yesterday because of church stuff, so Mom said now would be my chance at this party.
Even under all that fabric, I can still picture TJ grinning cheerfully. It is such a contrast to the past few hours with Carl. A contrast to this whole day, actually. That's very considerate of your mother, TJ. But, never mind. How did you get invited to this, but not us? TJ tilts his ghostly head curiously.
My mom just told me she heard about this fun get-together here and said it would be a good way to treat myself after volunteering yesterday. I didn't really think I needed one.
There's a pause.
Oh gosh, I've never crashed a party before. Should we just go home?
Carl and I exchange a look. Glenn told me that Leah would be here tonight, actually.
Huh? He didn't mention anything of that nature to me. I'm sure he just forgot to, though.
Carl steps off the roadway and onto the smooth concrete of the entranceway, trying to get a stealthy look inside from afar. If you say so, man.
I mean, it's okay to have a +1, right? But there are 3 of us.
See Leo in there, Carl? Carl is silent for a long moment. I see Jack. Who? Carl looks back to me. Jack shit. You might know him. I furrow my brow at Carl. TJ physically covers his ears with this enshrouded paws. I hear the lynx mutter a faint
Up.
Is it weird that we've been out here this whole time and no one has come outside? Like, I'd assume people would want to come out for air, to smoke, and make out. They might be doing that inside.
What?
TJ's eyes bulge.
What kind of party is this?
TJ brings his paws together, wringing them as he looks at us expectantly. We don't know, TJ. I kinda hope that you would. The sort that Leo and TJ would go to without inviting or even telling us about, apparently. Bitterness still hangs in Carl's tone as he rocks nervously upon his hooves. I'm honestly still upset about it myself, too. This is the sort of thing I'd like us all to do together. Our first real party, as a group. I don't feel nearly as confident without him with us. And by the way TJ and Carl are acting, I think it's the same for them, too. I suppose Leo just has that effect on people. Oh god. How in the hell am I even getting bars out here? Fuck this. I hit to ignore and walk past Carl toward the blinding cyan light of the broken entryway. Dude, wait!
Jace!
I step inside and am instantly greeted with the musty smell of dozens of years of structural decay. The scent of dust, drywall, and stray fiberglass insulation mixes with the more modern aromas of alcohol, perfume, and scented candles. Looking around, there are actually quite a few lit candles laying around, their flames contrasting with the colored gel-matted halogen lighting. Whoever set this up must be a theater tech kid. With all the candles, I actually agree with Carl's notion that this is a bit vampire culty feeling. The music certainly isn't helping. I had expected something a lot more, I don't know. Leo calls it oompa oompa music. The stuff with trumpets and accordions we get on the Spanish stations. Still no sign of anyone. This is actually kind of getting spooky.
Hey, wait up, Jace!
TJ and Carl come bounding in behind me. The acoustics in here are nuts.
Why is it empty?
I don't know. I don't hear anyone yet.
That's weird.
Well, let's split up, gang, and search for clues. TJ and I look over at Carl, who has a flat expression on his face. I'm joking. I'm literally fine with us holding tails chain style at this point.
I'm okay with just walking normally.
With that, TJ steps up. Following in tow, we walk around the corner through a cobwebbed hallway and into the main manufacturing floor. Here, we finally see some people. This is certainly no rave. I count only about 15 or so people at the far end of the room, and a few more in the rooms behind them. Most seem to be surrounding a metal keg, though a group of about 6 girls look to be gathered around what looks like a yearbook. I only recognize 1 or 2 of them, and even then only vaguely.
I think I see Heather over there by the barrel thing.
TJ points a sheeted paw toward a feline girl by the keg. Heather has a blue solo cup in her hand and is laughing at one of the guys around her. Heather is one of the girls who rides our bus. She lives out on the outskirts of Echo. She's not really a part of our group. I just know her dad is responsible for maintaining the reservoir dam. I have a feeling what's in the keg isn't fruit punch, and feel pretty boggled at how TJ's mom was the one to send him here. Meanwhile, looking at Carl, I can see that pretty much all his snark has dissipated once again. He stands in the doorway of the hall. The people in front start to notice us, nudging their friends and pointing. Some snicker, though most just look confused. Especially at TJ in his ghost costume. Feeling eyes upon him, the lynx lifts up his sheeted arms.
Whoa!
He approaches the grouping in character.
Happy Day of the Dead!
I don't think he knows what that even is. The confused expressions seem to amplify. As TJ nears, it looks like he's attempting to hug Heather. Having not been paying much attention behind her, she turns right at the last second, the lynx wrapping his ghostly arms around her in a tight hug. She screams, and all eyes shift to her and TJ.
Get the fuck off of me! Oh my god!
The surprised lynx lurches back with a startle, right as Heather shoves his chest. He goes colliding into the floor with a hard thump, dust splaying everywhere. The others around Heather exclaim distress.
What the fuck, man? Who are you? Get off her, you fucking creep! Emilia, go get Derek!
Heather, it's just TJ. Despite my shouting, I don't think anyone hears me, or at least understands me. They mostly all sound inebriated, judging from the slurs in their voices. I see one of the girls at the yearbook table get up and fast walk into the back rooms. I try to run up to TJ's side, but a large coyote steps in front from a back room and blocks my path. He has a look in his eyes that seems to say he's looking for a fight. TJ, meanwhile, lies on the floor with his white sheets coated in factory dust. From the sniffling noises I hear beneath the costume, I can tell he's crying. A stumbling coyote girl nudges him with her foot before emptying the contents of her cup on his sheeted head. Another, equally drunk wolf attempts to pull her back, nearly tipping them both over. She puts on a dazed expression of motherly scolding. Yo, Maria, what the fuck? Don't pour booze on the R-word, ghost. We honor our dead bad touchers on this night. For some reason, this comment makes a fox fellow next to Heather bristle.
Heather, this the guy who was talking to me about the fucker who?
His fists clench. Heather, meanwhile, seems to be crying now too. For some reason, her mascara matting the fur around her eyes. She just keeps repeating, "I can't fucking believe this," over and over while her friends try to console her. What the hell are you talking about? Leave him alone. The older coyote in front of me is not having any of it. He snarls.
We're sick of you, sick fuckers.
I don't know any of you besides her. Someone next to Heather yells back, "You leave Heather the fuck alone, Musk shit." I look behind me and see that Carl is no longer in the doorway, or in here with us. The fox guy seems to be trying to drag TJ now, limply smacking his sheeted head as the lynx tries to pull back.
I'm sorry.
This is a misunderstanding or something. Fuck! Leo! Are you here? The coyote grabs my shirt, pulling at me with enough force that my muzzle ends up smacking into his trucker hat brim and knocking it off his head. I manage to swat his paw away, though not before one of the girls screams in my direction. "Oh my god, he's attacking Derek!" "What the hell? No, I'm not!" With Derek snarling at me as he recombobulates, I weigh my options. I legitimately don't know how to fight. Flynn said that I wouldn't be good at fighting if I tried because of my shitty otter arms. I look down at my arms. They are rather shitty. I just have to go get help. The cacophony of screaming and snarling from around TJ is insane. Some people are all on fucking drugs or something. I hold up the flat of my paws to the dehatted coyote. "I'm not trying to fight you, I just want to get The coyote thrusts his arm out, getting a glancing blow with his fist against my chest. Stumbling back, I scramble to my feet, taking one final look at the fetal position TJ before turning to run. The coyote latches onto my shoulder, yanking me back. Something hard smacks into my skull and I feel my mind rattle. I lurch back, essentially butt-bumping the coyote as my ears ring from the prior blow. I feel like I'm walking like a zombie now, staggering toward the door as my vision blurs. Is this what being knocked out feels like? I clench my fists and keep up my pace, trying to blink the blurriness away. Eventually, I reach the entrance. Carl! Leo! As I reach the outside, my knees lock and I drop to the concrete. The impact rattles my bones as I catch myself with my wrists, just barely managing to avoid falling directly on my muzzle. I take a deep breath. I'm still conscious. At least half conscious. I continue crawling, trying to ignore the throbbing pain. Carl! Shouting now, my voice sounds foreign to me, shrill, childlike, pathetic, and increasingly hoarse. Leo! My voice shouldn't be this croaky. I've barely talked today. I'm in the middle of the road now. Where's Carl? I should get out of here before a car comes. I pull myself along the asphalt, feeling my skin scrape beneath my fur. I want to stand, but I'll probably just fall again. And so I keep crawling, rolling into what seems like some sort of detention basin. I stare up at the sky, fighting the sudden fatigue and gritting my teeth through the pain. At first I think it's blood that got into my eyes, but upon rubbing them, I realize that isn't the case. The sky is different. Like someone slapped one of those colored gel matte filters over it. What the hell? I rub my eyes again, attempting to focus. I can't stay here. TJ's in deep shit. Those idiots. Those assholes. Sucking in a sharp breath through my teeth, I rise to a stand, praying my knees don't lock up again. Find Carl. Find Leo. I stumble out of the detention basin, feeling packed soil beneath my feet. A dirt road. Looking behind me, I realize I must have crawled further than I thought. Parsons looks over a mile away? That can't be right. I see a van ahead. It looks rusted and old, but there's a light on inside. I step stiff-leggedy down the road a ways, reaching the bend where the vehicle sits. The same redness that the sky is tinted with pulsates from the interior. I try to speak, but no words come from my throat. It's like a dream. I want to do the rational thing and announce myself, but I can't. I move closer, peering into the dusty back window. Inside the window is another window. And in that window, a little red dot in the corner, flashing on and off. In the window within a window, there is a writhing, flashes of fur contorted and undulating in constant restless motion. Something is trying to hold it in place. I hear a clap and a cry. The clapping continues, louder now, rhythmic, yet singular applause. "This is what you want," says the voice that cried. I stare, slowly finding the will to speak. "No, I need to help my friends. Do you know where they are?" The voice shifts some, more urgent.
We heard gunfire coming from this town. It's real bad. Gunfire? I didn't hear anything. Please help me find my friends. We can't find them all now. We need to go. They're lost. No, they're not. I'll keep looking. I'll keep looking myself. You're just going in circles. I feel tears well within my eyes, a lump in my throat containing a choked sob. Please. The van's back door is open. I'm standing too close and they push me onto my back. The red light is gone now, replaced by darkness, shifting shadows within. I see them now. Tarantulas. Their 8 legs fuzz with white and rust-colored stripes. They're on me with haste. 2 of them. 1 on each of my arms. They bite so hard, so quickly. I can't yell. They pull and tug at me, another pair at my legs. I'm pulled up and into the van, my body stretched upon a squishy something that begins to sink against my arms and legs. There's no more light, and I stare paralyzed at what I think is the ceiling of the van in the pitch blackness. It feels like restraints are binding me in place. I try to adjust my eyes to the darkness, but everything is blurry and unclear. My head throbs like a heartbeat, the pangs of pain unrelenting. My fur bristles. Where did the spiders go? Breathing becomes more difficult, as if the oxygen in the van was running out. I feel the veins in my neck bulge as I try to gasp for large breaths, but my body is not my own. Lights pop as the ringing in my ears intensifies. Something is above me. I can sense it. There is a garbled muttering coming forth from it, as if spoken through a poorly tuned AM radio. It sounds like me. Have you ever killed anyone? My eyes wrench open. I'm being dragged. Realizing I have control of my basic motor functions now, I stomp my foot down, staggering free of the grasp and pushing myself against a doorway. I raise my fists defensively, my eyes adjusting to the light. Jess! The red wolf stared gobsmacked at me. Puta madre alter. I lower my paws, trying to get a sense of where I am. That same musty smell means that I'm probably back in Parsons, in front of what looks like an old first aid center of some kind. To think that workplace accidents at these sort of places were so common they needed one of these. Meanwhile, Leo is gawking at me, his eyes intense, searching. I look down and notice that his knuckle fur is matted with dried blood. I swallow, clearing my throat. The hoarseness is gone, but the pain everywhere else sure isn't. Hey, Leo. Out of all the questions I have, one pushes its way to the forefront. Is TJ okay? Wolf continues to stare at me as if I were some sort of alien. Yeah, now he is. I see his nostrils flare, disbelief and anger in his eyes. His mom's on the way here to pick him up. Heather is down there fucking doing a mix of apologizing and puking. I just left him for a minute to check back on you. He folds his arms across his chest, leaning against a windowed wall behind me. There is a brief silence and I feel his gaze swivel back down to me,
as intense as before.
How did this happen? Why was he? Why were you two here?
Leo's accent is thick now as he tries to speak faster than he can process the words in his head. Part of the question has me concerned though. Just you two? Where's Carl? He was with me before. Well, before that dick with the trucker hat hit me. I see Leo's jowls rear back in silent snarl. He looks down the hallway. He starts to shout at someone named Amelia, though I quickly realize he's speaking Spanish. A feminine voice down the hall retorts, also in Spanish. Leo looks back ahead and grunts, closing his eyes for a moment. Then, rather suddenly, they reopen, the big wolf turning to me.
Wait, you said Carl was here?
I nod, then regret it because my head feels like a mashed apple.
I haven't seen him since lunch.
He was. You told him we weren't doing anything today, but Flynn told us otherwise. Leo doesn't actually look surprised at the reveal, though visible guilt hangs heavy upon his usually confident face. He doesn't immediately respond, instead staring at my battered self in silence. My phone vibrates, though when I check my pockets it isn't there. There's a palpable sheepish moment when my ears flick towards the source. Leo. The wolf blinks and awkwardly hands me my phone from his own pocket.
We had to call TJ's mom. You're the one with the phone that can get signal pretty much anywhere, so I tried yours.
I'm sorry, I just got signal. Please be okay, dude. It's fine now. TJ's getting picked up. I'm here with Leo. I hear the sound of someone fiddling with the stereo and an auxiliary cord on the factory floor. Some arguing about music choices ensues. It seems that some people are still around for the party after all.
So, what all do you remember, out of curiosity?
I don't have amnesia, so relax. Whatever your name is.
I felt the back of your head, Puchica. You got the size of a goose egg.
I reach up and run my fingers over my scalp, the bump rather prominent. Alright, well... I regale him with the events of the night up to TJ's bullying.
Those Tony shits were saying you were pushers trying to harass Heather for some dates.
Fucking what?
Yeah, I don't know, Walter. Fuck!
I kept calling for you. He looks surprised and scowls at the concrete floor between his feet.
I should have been there to protect Oliver.
It seems like someone won the battle for the aux cord in the other room as the music starts up. Yep, still vampire culty. Well, I got hit so hard the sky turned red for a bit. Leo's eyebrow raises some. I see his eyes move toward my head bump again. I remember stumbling around outside looking for you and Carl. I felt like I was walking for ages. The last thing I remember was a van. I see Leo shift, his shoulders raising up as high as they can go, that thing he does when he's tense. He looks at me, expectant.
See anything else?
My brow furrows as I try to recall exactly what transpired. I remember it felt so much different than it does now in hindsight. I think I must have passed out then. Everything else is too hazy to recall. Recall without sounding insane is more like it. Leo's shoulders lower. He seems to be in thought now.
I found you outside on the road. I thought you had been hit by a car or something. And when I got to DJ, he wouldn't stop crying and smelled like poos. Not that I'm trying to sound like your mom's, but you had me crazy worrying. He rubs at his raw knuckles. Got into it with that Fox guy after that. It has been a weird night.
Why are you even here, man? He's taken visibly off guard by that question. The people here are freaking nuts. He sighs and lowers himself to a sitting position against the wall on the floor. He motions for me to do the same thing next to him, and I do, dusting away any leftover broken glass first, though.
A few people from the football team were going. Also, this one person invited me, and I wasn't going to tell him no.
I'm about to ask who that was, but I'm interrupted fairly quickly.
A couple weeks ago, I was looking for lawnmowers for sale.
Okay.
On Payton list.
Okay.
And I was bored, so I clicked around a bit. There was this personal dating thing ad posted, and the picture put with it looked like you all censored up. I feel a cold tingle creep through my spine to my fingertips at those words. Hell, I thought I could even see me in the background. So I looked around a little on your phone while you were out. That same picture, but not edited for anything, was saved in your image folder, yeah? I just checked.
I should be feeling angry at this complete invasion of my privacy, but I don't. I just feel paralyzed. I've known Leo since he didn't speak a lick of English, playing video games with me and Jasmine after school. He'd just imitate what we said with a big dumb smirk on his muzzle, as if he was saying something profound. I remember he got really hooked on the phrase, "double jump that sucker." I had been yelling it at Jazz for like 3 hours when we were trying to beat this platformer game I forgot the name of. From then on, every time one of us was feeling down or facing some challenge, he'd tell us to double jump that sucker with that same smirk. I look up over to Leo now, trying to gauge his feelings, but his expression is indiscernible.
Jess, you're like 15. You're already turning to complete strangers on the internet for sex shit? You know you can talk to me. I wouldn't have even gone to this.
He gestures to our surroundings. 2 girls I haven't seen before walk by us in the hall without even a passing glance. I look down, staring at my paws. I went from having the chills to feeling like my face is on fire. I shift some upon the concrete floor. I try waiting for the girls nearby to be completely out of earshot, though they stop in the hall and start showing each other something on their phones. Leo follows my gaze, letting out a quiet huff.
Come with me.
He rises up to his feet, pulling me by my wrist. Not having much choice as I'm tugged like a rag doll, I comply. Winding our way through the remnants of the partygoers, I fail to recognize anyone. 1 or 2 say hi to Leo as we pass, though most outright ignore me. I'm increasingly self-aware of how plain I look in contrast to the ripped plaid-donning, pierced-faced, and spike-haired crowd. The t-shirt and cargo pants look must not be really in at the moment. We finally stop in front of one of the back exits. There doesn't seem to be food, booze, or drugs in this part of the factory, so we're alone. Once again, Leo turns his expectant gaze upon me, his brow knit. However, by now, my nerves have evened out slightly, and I decide to counter the earlier question. Why do you care so much what I'm doing? that I am how I am. You didn't tell me about all this.
So you're queer now, eh? I get that. Just fuck. You can do so much better than old Saxon Peyton list.
What the hell? That was my business, man. Not yours. I just needed somebody to talk to, okay?
So, have you?
Have I what?
Met up with anyone? Screwed anyone?
My eyes bulge in such a sharp reaction that even Leo holds up the flat of his paws defensively.
Jeez, alright. You really are new to this, huh?
You could say that, yeah. My parents didn't even know until this morning. Or, I guess, last morning now.
That's real rough, Walter.
I cross my arms over my chest, letting my chin loll down as I stare at the dusty concrete floor. I'm gonna try to see if TJ is still out front and get a ride home with him. I'll leave you be with your friends. I turn, beginning to move when I hear a growl from behind me.
Ah, putica!
He grabs my shoulder, spinning me around to face him again.
Why do you have to be like this, eh?
I didn't choose to be like this, Lee.
Aye, you're adorable, Daphnis. Do you know how excited I got when I saw that email? That my suspicions were true? It was like a fucking fantasy, you know? Then I started wondering why you didn't tell me. And then I got all mad, and now I've ruined this. It takes me a second to process being called adorable, a fantasy, and the reveal from Leo himself. I blink up at him. He blinks back at me. Wolf bites his tongue for a moment, trying to think before speaking. I wish I could go back in time and... I'd kick the huevos in of that scud who hurt you. I'll protect you from here on out. I won't hide things from you. You are the fucking gold nugget in the shit mine, yeah? I wouldn't be any different than those sloshed up bastards if it hadn't been for you guys. I think back to when we were little, yeah? I don't remember any of what you were saying, but I remember being happy because of you and Jazz. And, you know, as you grew and shit, I started seeing you different like. You made me happy when I was around you before. But now it's like... I don't know. Walter, can't describe it well. Just a whole new type of happy. You know, like, you know, I fucking love you. But I love you, you know? So, why no point? Don't fuck strangers on the internet. My face starts to tingle, my heart thudding so loud in my chest I'm sure Leo can hear it. I inhale shakily. This can't be happening. I must still be dreaming. I'm cut off as I spy an awkward young shadow leering in the doorway, something bulky in his paws. Leo notes my shift of attention, turning about, face to the figure. I see his muscles tense beneath his t-shirt. Just don't leave. I'll be back in just a second. Yeah. Sure. Anything. I bump my knuckles together, watching the large wolf move to the doorway. I see him grab the shadowy figure by the shoulder, trying to shift him away a little. The unknown guy thrusts what looks like a camera bag and tripod toward Leo. Leo shoves it right back. I see the wolf leaning close, his grip tightening on the other. He mutters something.
The shadow whinges, his head turning. I think he's looking at me. Starting to feel rather awkward, I approach the two. As I do, however, the figure departs back towards the main factory floor.
I'm never hanging out with anyone but those in our group from here on out, I swear, man.
He curses something in Spanish under his breath. I used equipment like that before when I had to do a video story for the school news. The AV club rents them out to students for school projects. Are you, working on a school project? I see Leo's muzzle pull in a tight-lipped hold. He steps forward, taking hold of my shoulders.
No. For love of God, Chess, don't ask me about it again.
His demeanor seems more akin to begging than annoyance, flickers of fear in his eyes. I stand in his grasp, slack-jawed. This is beyond strange, but I can tell he's serious about his request. All right, but...
Chess.
Leo, are you okay?
I just want to get back to town with you, yeah?
I guess I can respect that request. I am assuming TJ's already been picked up by now. The last I saw of the lengths, he was crying in a beer-soaked puddle. I feel like a complete asshole for not checking in on him in person. Though, at least I wasn't as bad as Carl, who straight up fled home. Poor TJ is probably blaming himself for everything, too. Jasmine's stuck at home with her shitty family. Meanwhile, it turns out Leo's gay and likes me, and despite everything, the stuff he described feeling about me, I feel about him. My emotions are so damn conflicted right now, this emo vampire music is actually resonating with me. Leo releases my shoulders and moves toward the back door, tugging it a few times. He huffs some, then gives it a hard kick with his foot. One of the door hinges snaps and the door falls into a hanging diagonal position. With a swift stop, the other two hinges snap off as well, leaving the metal door on the floor. We could have gone out the front.
Well,
He stares at the door at his feet before looking up at me.
Wouldn't have been as rebellious. You like destruction of property, don't you?
I broke a mirror at one rest stop when I was 8.
Because you didn't get the toy you wanted in your kitty meal.
He smiles teasingly at me, the moonlight illuminating his backside. I can see the faint purples in the night of the inevitable sunrise as well. Hey, you know we don't have fast food joints like that around here. That was my one chance at getting that figurine from that stupid dinosaur movie.
Your hand was so damn bloody. I thought you were the coolest.
There's a pause. I step past him into the fresh, far less musty air. The faint scent of Leo's cologne now more palpable. I cross my arms, staring down the rusty metal of the fire escape like stairwell.
I still do.
Oh, bullshit, man. I try to maintain a healthy amount of skepticism for his words now. Though looking at him now, and having known Leo long enough, I don't sense any visible signs of deception. My dad actually suggested I'd be a decent journalist, since I'm pretty good at reading people and their emotions. Though he might have just said that to try to dissuade me from videography. Leo begins to descend the stairway, keeping his paws hovering above the guardrail just in case. I pull up my phone, using the screen as a flashlight for us.
I'm serious. You act so damn level-headed all the time. Everyone else in our group, not to be insulting them or nothing cause their family, but they can be pretty out there, eh? You're always so calm and balanced, though. You mean generic, boring. Nah, like, you're always hanging in the background, almost invisible like, and then you say some snarky shit and everyone loses it. You're observant, yeah? Like Flynn, but less of an insulting shit about. My parents, my siblings, they love you, dude. Mom's always asking me when Chase is coming around again. We reach the end of the stairway. The insides of my ears probably ruby red at this point. The backlot of Parsons is mainly composed of old piles of dirt and some foundation, like they were planning on expanding before they shut down. I'm not gonna fuck people on the internet. You can ease up on the compliments. I turn around and smirk at Leo, a little in disbelief that those words just left my mouth. We start walking. Good. I have no clue what you're into, actually. Honestly. Leo looks at me a little warily, that same guilty expression crossing his muzzle once again. And, you know, muscles, I guess. I see Leo's eyes light up, his maw pulling into a fangy grin. It actually is a pretty frightening visage in the middle of the night, were it anyone but Leo. Predators. You should come to more of my games if you want to see those. The internet exists too. Yeah, and how'd that work out for you earlier? I feel that pang of remembrance and the ensuing feelings of shame all over again. This whole night did exactly what I wanted after all, distracted me from my problem. I feel Leo's eyes on me, his face softening. He places his paw on my back. You missed a lot this season. You weren't even at homecoming. The tickets were like $30. I was saving up for that multiplayer driving sim game with Carl. We eventually played it for like 3 hours and never touched it again. We won by only a few points, and I got 2 touchdowns. If you were there, I would have pointed to the stands where you were and everything, embarrassed the shit out of you, eh? I wouldn't be embarrassed. I'd be, well, I am proud of you. In the past, I had vocally lamented Leo's ascension to jockhood, especially his douchebag townie teammates. Ah. Now it's Leo's turn to be dubious. He clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth, shaking his head. You and Carl just think I'm a different person now that I play varsity. Leo and I would poke fun at him about it, and I think our jokes genuinely upset him. I've never really properly apologized about all that. In reality, I just didn't like the fact he spent most of his after-school time at practice. I miss him. You're not. You've always been a block-headed ball slinger. That hasn't changed. Leo lets out a deep chortle. You gonna join the cheerleading squad now for me, Alter? I ain't flexible enough for that. You think I can do a high kick? No, but I'd pay $1 to see you try. Coming to a stop, I look down at my stubby legs. $1 is $1. That's 1/4 of what I need to get a burger at the diner. You're not gonna film this, too? The wolf's shoulders tense, his gaze snapping to me. Just, you said I wouldn't ask about it. Doesn't mean I can't tease you about it. He huffs, but I can tell that sort of cheered him up, in a way. Just don't mention it around the group, okay? I make a circle with my fingers in a gesture of acknowledgement. I make sure there is no errant shrubbery around me before directing my muscles to lift my right leg up as high as it will go.
It turns out that's barely a 60-degree angle from its stationary position. I hear the wolf snigger. Oh, come on! I am just a sack of furry stone, and even I can kick higher than that! We're two different species, give me a break! Work for that dollar, Chase. Defy species norms and negative stereotypes, as Jasmine says. There are physical limitations here that no third-period social sciences class can overcome. And I don't think being an otter being paid to perform for a wolf's amusement is exactly a progressive act. I believe in you. He says that as saturine and schmaltzily as possible, eliciting an eye roll from yours truly. I lift my leg, this time bracing my hands beneath my thigh and pushing up. I manage to get the thigh itself much higher, though I'm having trouble fully extending at the knee. Leo notices and steps over, taking my calf and holding the small of my back supportingly, so I don't tip over. My muscles are starting to burn something fierce, and the position is pretty damn compromising. I frown as hard as I can up at Leo, who bursts into laughter. Okay, now I wish I was filming this, Otter. Dude! I wriggle free, rubbing my now sore leg before continuing onward. True to his word, Leo fishes his wallet out of the back of his jeans and hands me a crisp $1 bill. I pocket the dollar, looking back over toward Leo. Don't I get a tip? The tip comes later. Jesus Christ. I bury my face in my paws, groaning in contrast to the baritone cackling of the wolf beside me. Jokes like that have a whole new meaning after tonight. As I peek through my fingers, I see that the sun has crested the edge of the mountains and the world is bathed in glimmers of orange. I've been up for nearly 24 hours now, and my body feels more tingly than tired. We start walking beside the main road now, the lack of vehicle traffic giving an eerie stillness to the desert. Leo walks close to me, to the point where our paws brush against each other from time to time. So, that party. One of Leo's large ears flicks in my direction before he turns, canting his head curiously. Y'all? That wasn't very Day of the Dead-y, was it? He shakes his head. No, it was not. I think some of those deadbeats thought it had to do with the movie. I only really remember celebrating it once in my home country, so I wouldn't really say it was a celebration, yeah? I just remember my mom, dad, siblings gathering in a cemetery. We placed orange marigolds in front of the abuelo's grave, lit candles, and ate quesadillas. Carl would like that last part. Yeah, no shit. The prospect of food actually helped him get over his social anxiety to come with me. I see Leo's face shift to a more tight frown. Look, man. That party probably made his issue so much worse. They barely had any fucking food, too. Some tool named Robert just brought a bunch of fruit. Better than nothing. But yeah, I remember we just talked about the loved ones who had passed, told stories, and sort of acted like they were there. So, do you actually believe that those who have passed can listen in on us when we want them to? He looks up for a moment, the color of the sunrise now matching the hue of his fur. Sweat stains are visible around his armpits, his knuckles are still bloodied, and his head fur is a complete mess. That being said, it is kind of a good look for him. Not so much for yours truly, though. His gaze shifts back ahead, his tone neutral.
But it helps the living, you know? We still gotta get by.
A silence hangs between us. It is pretty obvious his mind has drifted to memories of Sydney. Mine as well. This sort of awkwardness is common now. Sharing trauma like that and carrying on like nothing happened is our usual go-to. It has been about 4 years now, and it hasn't gotten any easier. Too many reminders here. We're all fucked up from it. Leo's overprotectiveness, Carl's anxiety, Jasmine's escapism, Flynn's rage, my hallucinations, and TJ. God. Poor TJ. Maybe next year we could try? Just. Leo looks at me, his eyes meeting my own before drifting to my paw. Slowly he reaches over, grasping mine in his.
I just want to move on. To cherish what I got, yeah? I want to...
I can hear the word forget upon the tip of his tongue, and he can't bring himself to say it aloud. Instead, he squeezes my paw tighter. I squeeze back. My therapist told me that I should talk about it more, but it isn't something that I can just broach in between talk of football and video games.
Sure as shit way to kill any good feelings in the area, that's for sure.
Like right now?
Walter.
He brings our paws up in front of us, forcing me to look at our own interlaced fingers. Seeing the size difference, the red fur gripping my own, is enough to make my neck feel hot, my heart thud heavy.
Look at what we're doing now. We can shoot the sad shit about how tragic everything in Echo is, or we can go against the grain and be happy. I say, let's be fucking happy.
Leo smiles down at me, letting our paws fall back to our sides. Despite his motivational words, I can tell from the gleam in his eyes that he's nervous. His usual confident bravado shaken in this new territory. I don't blame him. They say this sort of thing is supposed to give you a butterflies in your stomach feeling. Yet as we walk along the abandoned Route 65, I feel less like I have butterflies and more like I'm about to jump out of a fucking plane. It isn't that simple, Leo.
Well, fuck it. Let's pretend it is for a while and see how it goes.
What exactly are you asking for? He rubs his forehead, his fanged teeth briefly grit.
I just... I don't know how to explain it. Just... cheer up?
That wasn't exactly eloquently put, even by Leo's standards. I haven't eaten anything since lunch, swam or slept in 24 hours. I've been beaten in the head and was unable to save TJ from getting bullied to hell, and my parents caught me looking at gay porn, and now will never look at me the same way again. I still have to deal with that. I'm not exactly in the best of mental states at the moment. Though this, I gesticulate to the two of us with a swirl of my free hand, is helping. Freaking me out, for sure, but I'm glad you're here.
We'll make all that right. I bet Jasmine would be squealing when she hears about all this shit. This is just like one of her comics, the mangas.
Turns out she actually reads that yoi shit. After all, I learned.
That's that anime porn with the Twinkie triangle types, right?
I nearly choked trying to contain my laughter.
Are you familiar with it, Leo? Yeah, of course I'm familiar with it. I got a whole bunch of files with that sort of stuff saved in my sample music folder on my PC. Nobody ever looks in there. Looking up at Leo, he looks genuinely happy now. I mean, a bit sweaty, fidgety, and blood splattered. But so am I. Right now, I just have to focus on not ruining this. Don't ever get too comfortable with that sort of thing. I did, now everything's fucked for me in the eyes of my folks. Man, your mom is the nicest lady. I can't imagine her kicking you out or anything. I'm not worried about that. God, getting kicked out almost sounds preferable to having to face them every day with them having seen me like that. Imagine if your parents found your Yoi folder and how they'd see you from then on. Well, they shouldn't have been going through my shit in the first place. I think my ma already knows about me being gay though.
What?
She kept asking me if I liked Jasmine. Like, yeah? It was annoying me, and I just up and said she wasn't my type. My ma kept prodding me with, "Why, Leonardo? She is a smart one, and she has cared for you in your times of need on countless occasions." I tried to restrain a snicker at Leo's impression of his mother, the accented high-pitched cadence rather right on the nose. Leo hears my suppressed titters, looking down at me with a feigned scowl before hip-bumping me. I nearly go careening off the side of the bike lane into the sagebrush-filled side basin, but he yanks me back by my paw he's holding. I tried to imagine Leo and Jasmine together. It makes sense, I guess, but it is weird to think about. Puberty in general has made things so different. She went on, asking exactly what my type was. I think I was frustrated or something at the time. Like, after a bad practice session, I said, "Not girls." My eyes widened, picturing the confrontation in my mind. Jeez, what happened next? I regretted saying it. My mom could see that plain enough on my mug, yeah? She just clicked her tongue, told me to let her know, and I felt like talking more about it. I'm assuming you haven't really followed up on her offer? No, Jess, I have not. There's a silence between us, mostly because I'm trying to think up a response that isn't, "Well, I have it worse." Before I can speak, we approach what looks like a short, dirt driveway that leads up to a shack of some sort. Leo stops and points toward it. "Let's cut through there, and head to my house through the rear yard. I don't want to deal with Jeremy right now in case he's awake and outside his house." I sincerely doubt that Jeremy and Clint would be out and about being dicks this early on a Saturday, but I don't argue and follow along. Upon closer inspection, it looks like one of those roadside dive bars you see a lot on the reservations. This one boarded up fairly recently. The Joshua trees and the old-timey pickup truck give it an out-of-place feeling. As far as I know, Joshua trees aren't native to this area. Oh, never heard about this place before. I have. It was open for a little while, a year or so ago. Yeah? It would have been the first new business I've heard of around here since I was like 7, I think. Yeah, like I said, it didn't last long. I heard from Charlie that the owner got busted for some fucked up shit that Officer Molcup found in the back room. Christ. I mean, this is all from Charlie, so I wouldn't believe all of it. Like, what specifically? Leo shrugs, a light frown on his muzzle. I don't know. He wouldn't tell me. We continue moving, Leo kicking an errant bean can along in front of us as we walk. Can't believe Charlie's still alive. Turns out absurd amounts of meth is the secret to a long lifespan. Not if I find out you've been taking it, Walter. Or shorten your fucking lifespan real quick.
He smirks at me and I roll my eyes, glancing back at the side of the abandoned bar as we pass. Keith and Brian's Booze Bastion. The sun is now high enough in the sky that I occasionally have to shield my eyes from it as we head due east. Right now, I'm trying to balance upon one of the rails of the train tracks, whilst Leo does the same on the other. It is made a bit more difficult by the fact that we're still holding hands, each teeter from him yanking me along as well, and vice versa. Despite being, as he puts it, a lump of stones covered in fur, he has a lot more poise than yours truly. I think my tail might be a bit too thick for balance and agility. It's more suited for aquatic usage. That just reminds me of how much I could use a swim right now, or at least a bath. I feel like a dusty skeever. I must be smelling musky as all hell at this point. I'm a mess. And I'm a mess in front of Leo, who just keeps looking better and better the brighter it gets. I'm worried that he's going to take one long look at me at any moment and realize he's made a mistake. Hey. I glance over tentatively, increasingly conscious of how clammy my paw pads are in Leo's grasp. I know we kinda glossed over it earlier, but how do you think the others are actually gonna respond to all this? I nearly fall off the rail, catching myself with one foot on the ground. Technically it's cheating, but this isn't really a competition. What do you mean, all this? He clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth, just like his mom does. I still don't know what exactly that means. Stupid. My gaze falls and I feel my shoulders slump. Leo looks over, his expression turning apologetic, and I can feel his thumb rub the side of my paw. Yeah, sorry. I know we're both tired as dirt. Honest though, if I was in bed right now, I wouldn't be able to sleep leaving it all like this. So I guess I just gotta come out and say it all plain like for you, Alter. You're my boyfriend now, right? I blink at hearing the words out loud. Though when the moment comes, I don't even hesitate. You're my boyfriend, Leo. His pace on the track slows, then eventually stops outright. He turns, facing me. We stand in the midst of the abandoned passenger carriers, the plants around us mostly dead or dormant for the autumn. I can't help but have this feeling that we clash with our surroundings, alive and new and something dead and decaying. I'm reminded of a word I studied for a Southwestern literature elective I took. The cause. It comes to me, as if recited on a recorder in my brain, a short paragraph which I labored to memorize the night before my presentation. Quas, a noun, both singular and plural, referring to anything strange, incongruous, or peculiar. At its heart is the unknown, the mysterious. It rhymes with Oz. To a traveler, it's often the highest quisitum. For me, everything, whether object, person, or event, when seen clearly in the depths of its existence, in its quiddity, is Oz. And every road, every alley, the all to your parlor. The course of a creek, the track of a comet, all are a route to Quas for any traveler. Any queerest willing to question, to go in quest, to ask the cosmic question of the medieval church drama. Quim veritis? Whom do you seek, O pilgrim? William Least Eat moon. Let's be happy, yeah? Moisture wells within his russet eyes, and I recall the last time I saw Leo cry. It was after what happened at the lake. It was our first day back to school, and he gathered all of our group together. He started out fine, managing simple English and explaining how he promised he was going to protect us all from now on. And then he just kept saying, "I'm sorry," over and over again. Jasmine was the first to step up and hug him. Then Carl, then TJ, then me, and finally Flynn. We held each other outside the road and sobbed. Flynn kept yelling something and seemed more incensed than mourning, but I wasn't listening to his words. Leo bawled until he was hiccuping, wrought with himself. We all did. Eventually, a passerby called one of our parents and we were picked up one by one. The funeral had happened the week before and our parents thought we were ready to reintegrate. That things were better. It never felt like things got better. But Leo was always there, keeping his promise. Now my eyes brim with tears. I think it might be in part due to our lack of sleep, but I can't hold back. We stare at each other, Leo laughing and wiping his eyes with his palms.
You always suck in your cheeks when you're trying not to cry.
He reaches up, ruffling my head fur as he does so commonly. I sniff, trying to manage a challenging look, Leo looking blurry in my vision. I let go of his paw, taking him by the front of the shirt and pulling him down to my height. I shut my eyes tight and kiss him, my arms trembling as I do. Large arms envelop me, his grasp first on my waist, but then upon my face as he holds onto my tear-matted cheeks. I realize I have no idea what I'm doing with regard to kissing, and I feel like a fool mushing my face against his, but Leo doesn't laugh. The kiss is over rather quickly, but I embrace him as soon as our muzzles part. I feel his head rub into mine, a neediness to his demeanor which I share. We continue to stand each on our own rail, keeping equilibrium balanced at the center. This makes the hug sort of awkward in structure. It actually reminds me a lot of church pamphlets TJ had that described the proper way to hug someone of the opposite sex. Backs hunched forward, arms around the upper torso, pelvises at least a foot apart from one another. At least we were all good in the eyes of the Lord so far. It feels like several minutes pass, Leo occasionally squeezing me tighter and rubbing his paws across my back. I do the same. The position starts to feel a bit sore, especially with my recent battering, and I pull back. Leo seems to have been caught unawares, waving his arms as he tries to find his balance again. He stumbles and falls off, his rump hitting the sandy gravel beside the track. Oh shit, Leo, you okay, man? I hop down, but in my haste, my foot catches and I topple over onto the big wolf's chest, adding injury to injury. Leo just chuckles, rewrapping his arms around my midsection. We meet eye to eye.
Blumsy Otter.
I sigh with relief and kiss him again, briefly, as I'm aware I haven't brushed my teeth in 24 hours as well. He strokes his fingers through my head fur, careful to avoid the bump on the back of my head, before releasing me. I stand, offering a paw to him. He takes it, though just for show, really. He seems to have no problem standing up on his own now.
So, before I was rudely interrupted, I asked you how you thought the others will take us, now that we're a couple?
We start walking again, this time with Leo leading. He seems to take fancy with an old rusted crane, the wolf bounding up the stepladder and clambering over it like he's 10 again. So, I think that Jasmine will probably dig it. Glenn will taunt us relentlessly but harmlessly. TJ will probably be confused but ultimately happy for us. And Carl will probably be bewildered as all hell and awkward about it. Leo reaches the top of the crane steps. He peeks over the metal to beckon me.
Really? In my head, I imagined that when I tell Carl I am queer and stuff, he'll just say, "That's gay," and then continue playing his handheld without caring.
Carl? Nah. He cares. I know he does. I told him that I was gay earlier. He's the only one I've come out to, really.
You did? Oh?
I see his face visibly contort for some reason. We had a long journey from school to the party, and it was burning on my conscience, I guess. That seems to soothe him a bit, and he shifts focus. Also, I don't want tetanus. I'm good down here. He nods, making his way back down, his chipper gait and utterly foreign side as he beams at me. The wolf is slap-happy hyper.
What about your parents?
Oh, Jesus. One day they catch me with gay porn, the next I have a big-ass Hispanic wolf boyfriend. I don't know, man.
I want to tell mine about you. They'd be happy for me, I guarantee it, yeah?
My eyes drift down to my pocket, the weight of my phone still resting against my thigh. I still have a voicemail from yesterday that they sent me. I haven't listened to it. I see some of his excited demeanor diminish to his usual more concerned expression. Leo heads over beside me and we continue walking.
Just, whatever they say, you've still got me.
He approaches me and stops, his fingertips tapping his hips as he thinks of what to say.
You've still got all of us in the group, and if shit got real bad, you could stay with us for a bit. Jasmine does it all the time. Pa and Mama are used to having a house filled with kids, but since most of my siblings moved out, it's just me. TJ's parents would never turn you away either. And Carl, well, God knows that he has enough damn rooms going. His parents are barely ever there. You could be like that one movie with the boy who lived in the walls of the house making spooky noises at night and eating their gorgonzola.
Let out a small chuckle. I remember how Carl used to be really afraid of ghosts a few years ago. I got to hang out with him and play video games as a coping mechanism excuse. Still, now that I have my phone in hand, I still have that same twisting dread within my gut. I'm just... It's like everything is changing and my head is spinning. My folks will never see me the same again.
They won't. Because you're almost a fucking adultess.
The curtness of Leo's tone has me look up from my phone and back to him.
Yes, the Yuka. People grow up. You have, and really handsomely. I gotta say, yeah?
I look off to the side. The flattery is making my neck warm and my cheeks flush. Despite everything, I still can't believe it's Leo that is saying all this to me.
The thing is, your parents are gonna love you no matter what. They're good like that. I know it. I bet my neck.
He grasps his throat, looking down at me with bloodshot eyes and a smile.
Other shit piles around here are the ones I'm gonna have to worry about. Because no way I'm hiding that I have chased the altar as my boyfriend. And trust me,
He raises up his large fist in front of me, showing the crimson which stains his knuckle fur.
They try anything or harass you for it, I'll make sure they know the consequences.
I shift my focus from Leo's fist to his wild gaze. Man, you need some sleep. Leo blinks, then brings his fist back to rub the back of his neck.
Fuck yeah, I do.
He sniffs, rolling his shoulders some before looking back to the phone in my hand.
Alright, let's listen to this voicemail, eh?
He looks off to the side, sort of muttering embarrassingly under his breath.
Double jump that sucker. And whatnot.
It's so cringy, but I feel like I want to kiss him again. I smile wryly at Leo. He just huffs.
Fair warning though, you're still probably grounded as hell.
I smirk, my chest feeling tight, my mouth dry. Oh yeah, I know that. I get yelled at if I don't call my parents back within 5 minutes anyway. I'll miss you while I am in lockup, though. Leo grins lopsidedly, less wild now.
I'll see if I can arrange a conjugal visit or something.
I take a deep breath, navigating to the voicemail inbox section.
Ready?
I can see Leo's family home in the distance now, some smoke rising up from the backyard. They must be grilling something. Ready. I press play. And he was never heard from again. There it is, the prequel. This was cool. And I'm gonna come... Okay. Skinny, you did this. You wrote it so well, dude. Excellent job. Allie, if you contributed at all, don't say you did, but if you did, I'm sure you did somewhere. Excellent work. Skinny, Howley, incredible. The writing is so spot on, especially between Carl and Chase. I fucking love that. Just how funny and spot on that dialogue was. Just those, cringy, but still funny jokes that they pass each other, pass by each other. Like everyone hating Carl's family, and he just can't believe that people hate the ice cream family. And Chase just says, maybe they're intolerant. Lactose intolerant. And Carl is just like, oh my god, and just face palming. That's so fucking accurate. That's totally me. Like, fuck you now. Yeah, and it's a really good coming out story. Like, I haven't read any, but because I'm not LGBTQI. I'm not that. I'm totally straight. So, but still, I'm completely open, and consider myself an ally. But, as far as coming out stories go, like, I think this is excellent. And the characters developed really good. I kind of wish we actually got double jump that sucker from Leo in Echo, but I guess at that point he's grown out of it. And maybe it is in there somewhere. I just haven't got to it yet, or I missed it. But yeah, I totally love it. The characters are great. The beginning for Jenna is just so sad. You see all the trauma some of these characters come from. It's heartbreaking. And, Leo's right. You really do have to worry about all the other shit piles that are out there. And you find just a few really good people, and you hope you don't fuck it up. If you're in a situation where you're living with shit piles, really assess. Really assess if you can be like Jen and get out. Change your name if you need to. Just get out and be safe. If you have really good friends who will take care of you. And just do what she's done. Just when you get a chance, pull yourself up, get all the help you need, and just excel like she has. Feels like the whole world's against you. And, even for me, someone who's not in that community, it feels like it's fucking against me too. And I should have a lot of advantages. Doesn't feel like I have any. So, best of luck to everyone out there. Help each other, because we only have each other. Especially in the community you guys have. You really only have each other sometimes, and it's heartbreaking. It's really fucked up. So, thank you all for listening. There will be more Echo. Route 65, I'm going to go through the routes for everyone, just kind of see what's new. And then I believe we're doing Jenna's route next. And then we'll carry on from there. So until then, thank you, everyone. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. Bye.